Listen to me very carefully. If you are sitting there right now in December 2025 thinking about starting over in 2026 with $0, I need you to understand something. You are standing at the edge of a financial cliff, and most of you are about to jump off that cliff with a smile on your face because you think you know what you're doing. You don't. You have no idea what's coming. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do if I had to start from absolute zero right now, not 5 years ago. Not in some fairy tale economy, right now, in this environment, with these conditions. And if you don't listen to every single word I'm about to say, you will fail, period. You will be back at zero in 12 months. Guaranteed. I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've built businesses from nothing, and I've watched idiots destroy themselves financially because they thought they were special. They thought the rules didn't apply to them. So turn off your notifications, stop scrolling, and pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you is the difference between wealth and poverty, between freedom and being a wage slave for the rest of your miserable life. My name doesn't matter. What matters is this. I've been investing and building businesses for over 30 years. I've seen 4 recessions, 3 market crashes, countless bankruptcies, and I've made money through all of it. Why? Because I don't believe in fairy tales. I believe in data. I believe in cold, hard math. And I believe in telling you the truth even when it hurts your feelings, especially when it hurts your feelings, because your feelings are going to bankrupt you. Your optimism is going to destroy you. And your belief that you're going to be the exception, that you're going to be the one who makes it big trading crypto or day trading stocks or starting a drop shipping store, that belief is a cancer, and I'm here to cut it out right now. So here's the deal. You're going to subscribe to this channel. You're going to smash that subscribe button like your financial life depends on it, because it does. I'm going to give you the playbook. The exact playbook I would use if I woke up tomorrow with $0, 0 connections, 0 safety net, and I had to rebuild everything from scratch in 2026. This isn't theory. This isn't motivational garbage. This is a survival guide. And if you ignore it, you deserve what's coming. Now let's talk about the environment you're walking into, because most of you have no idea what's actually happening in the economy right now. You hear the news, you see the headlines, but you don't understand what it means for you. Let me explain it to you like you're 5 years old. We are in the most dangerous financial period for beginners in 40 years. Period. Let me say that again. If you are starting from zero right now, you are in more danger than at any point since the early 1980s. Why? Let me break it down. Interest rates. The Fed has been playing games with interest rates for years, and now we're paying the price. Money is expensive. Credit is expensive. If you want to borrow money to start a business, you're paying 6%, 7%, 8% interest. That means your margin for error is 0. You cannot afford to make mistakes. Back in 2020 and 2021, money was free. Interest rates were basically 0. Any idiot could borrow money and start a business and stumble into profit because the cost of capital was nothing. Those days are gone, dead, buried. If you think you're going to bootstrap a business on credit cards right now, you're insane. You will drown in interest payments before you make your first sale. Second, the job market. Everyone keeps talking about low unemployment. They keep saying the economy is strong. They're lying to you, or they're stupid, or both. The job market is bifurcated. That means split. If you have skills, real skills, tech skills, sales skills, you can get a job. If you don't, you're competing with millions of other people for garbage jobs that pay $15 an hour. And those jobs are disappearing. Fast. AI is coming. Automation is coming. And it's not coming in 10 years. It's here, right now. ChatGPT, Claude. These tools are replacing entry-level workers by the thousands. If your plan is to get a safe, steady job and save your way to wealth, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. That job is going away. And when it does, you'll have nothing. No skills, no savings, no options. So the traditional path, the get a job, work your way up, save for retirement path, that path is a death trap. It doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for years. But now, in 2026, it's suicide. Third, inflation, real inflation, not the garbage numbers the government feeds you. Go to the grocery store, look at rent prices, look at car prices, look at insurance. Everything is up 30 to 50% compared to 3 years ago. Your dollar buys half of what it used to buy. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. So if you're starting from zero, your zero is actually negative because the cost of living is crushing you before you even start. You need to make more money. just to stay alive, just to pay rent, just to eat. Forget about saving, forget about investing. Most people starting from zero right now are in a hole before they take their first step, and they don't even realize it. They think they're at the starting line. No, you're at the bottom of a pit, and you need to climb out before you can even start the race. Fourth, the distraction economy. This is the one that kills most people. You are being bombarded every single day with garbage. Crypto bros telling you to buy meme coins, gurus selling you courses on Amazon FBA, Instagram influencers showing you their rented Lamborghinis and their fake lifestyles, and you fall for it because you're desperate. You want the shortcut. You want the secret. Let me tell you the secret. There is no secret. There is no shortcut. Everyone selling you a shortcut is selling you a fantasy, and they're getting rich while you stay poor. The only people making money in crypto right now are the people who got in 5 years ago, or the scammers. The only people making money in dropshipping are the people selling dropshipping courses. The only people making money in day trading are the brokers collecting your fees while you lose everything. Wake up. Stop being a mark. Stop handing your money to con artists. So that's the environment. High interest rates, a collapsing job market for low-skill workers, crushing inflation, and an entire industry built around scamming desperate people like you. That's what you're walking into. And if you don't have a plan, a real plan, you're going to get destroyed. So let's get into the plan. Let's get into exactly what I would do if I had to start over with $0 in 2026. Step 1. And this is non-negotiable. I would stop all spending immediately, all of it. I don't care about your lifestyle. I don't care about your social life. I don't care about your mental health days or your self-care or your need to treat yourself. You have $0. You don't get to treat yourself. You get to survive. That's it. I would cut my expenses to the bone. I would move back in with my parents if I could. I would get a roommate, 2 roommates, 3 roommates. I would live in the cheapest place I could find that wasn't going to get me killed. I would stop eating out completely. 0 restaurants, 0 delivery, 0 coffee shops. I would eat rice and beans and eggs and chicken, boring food, cheap food, food that costs $1 per meal. I would cancel every subscription, Netflix, Spotify, the gym, all of it, gone. I would sell everything I owned that I didn't absolutely need, old electronics, clothes, furniture, everything. I would turn my life into a cash-generating machine. Because here's the truth. You cannot build wealth if you're spending everything you make. It's mathematically impossible. And most people starting from 0 are spending more than they make. They're going into debt just to maintain a lifestyle they can't afford. Stop it. Stop it right now. Your lifestyle is killing you. Let's do the math. Let's say you're making $3,000 a month right now, after taxes. That's $36,000 a year, the average American. If you're spending $2,000 on rent, $300 on a car payment, $200 on insurance, $300 on food, $100 on subscriptions and entertainment, you're spending $2,900 a month. You have $100 left, $100. You know what you can do with $100? Nothing. You can't invest it. You can't start a business. You can't build anything. You're on a treadmill, running in place until you die. But if you cut that spending in half, if you get your expenses down to $1,500 a month, now you have $1,500 left over, $18,000 a year. That's your starting capital. That's your ammunition. That's what you're going to use to claw your way out of 0. So step 1 is extreme frugality. Not for a month, not until you feel better, forever. Or at least until you're making 10 times what you're making now. This is your new religion. Spend nothing. Save everything. Step 2, I would get a job, any job, the highest paying job I could get immediately. And I need you to understand something. I'm not talking about your dream job. I'm not talking about finding yourself or following your passion. I'm talking about a paycheck, cold hard cash, right now, today. If you have $0, you are in emergency mode. You don't have the luxury of being picky. I would go to Indeed. I would go to LinkedIn. I would go to every staffing agency in my city. And I would take the first job that paid me the most money per hour. Warehouse work, driving for Uber, bartending, sales. I don't care. Whatever pays the most. Whatever gets me a paycheck this week, not next month, this week. And I would work that job like my life depended on it, because it does. I would show up early, stay late, volunteer for overtime, take every shift they offered me. Why? Because I need capital. I need money coming in. You cannot start a business with $0. You cannot invest with $0. You need a base. You need a foundation. And that foundation is a paycheck. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the job is the plan. It's not. The job is the bridge, the job is temporary, but you need it. Let me give you an example. Let's say you get a job at a warehouse making $18 an hour. You work 50 hours a week, 40 regular hours and 10 overtime hours. That's $720 base pay plus $270 overtime. That's $990 a week, $4,280 a month before taxes. Let's say you take home $3,000 after taxes. If you're living on $1,500 a month, like I told you, you're saving $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year. In 6 months, you have $9,000. That $9,000 is everything. That's your war chest. That's what you're going to use to change your life. But most people would take that $3,000 paycheck and spend all of it. New car, new apartment, new clothes, bottle service at the club. And then they wonder why they're still broke. Don't be like most people. Most people are idiots. Step 3, and this is where it gets serious. I would learn one high-income skill. 1, not 10, not 5. 1. And I would become obsessed with it. What's a high-income skill? It's a skill that can make you $75,000 to $200,000 a year or more without needing a 4-year degree, without needing a fancy resume, just the skill and the ability to sell that skill. Here are the skills I would consider: sales, copywriting, media buying, performance marketing, video editing, web development, app development. Sales is the king. If you can sell, you will never be broke, ever. Companies are desperate for people who can sell, desperate, and they will pay you a fortune. 20% commission on every deal you close. If you're selling a $10,000 product and you close 10 deals a month, that's $100,000 in sales. That's $20,000 a month for you. But here's the catch. You have to be good. You have to learn. You have to practice. You can't just show up and wing it. So here's what I would do. I would pick sales, and I would go all in. I would read every book on sales. Spin selling, the Challenger sale, gap selling, fanatical prospecting. I would listen to sales podcasts every single day. I would watch YouTube videos. I would join sales communities on Reddit. I would find a mentor, someone who's actually closing deals and making money, and I would offer to work for them for free, just to watch them, just to learn. And then after 30 days of learning, I would go get a commission-based sales job, tech sales, SaaS sales, something where the product is good and the commissions are high, and I would grind 60 calls a day, 80 calls a day until I started closing deals. And once I closed my first deal, I would study what worked, and I would do it again and again and again. Within 6 months, if you do this right, you're making 6 figures easy, and now you're not starting from zero anymore. You're starting from $100,000 a year. That changes everything. Or let's say you pick copywriting, writing sales copy, writing emails, writing landing pages. Companies will pay you $500 to $5,000 per project if you can write copy that converts. That makes them money. They don't care about your degree. They don't care where you went to school. They care about results. So I would learn copywriting. I would study the greats: Eugene Schwartz, Gary Halbert, David Ogilvy. I would hand copy their sales letters, word for word, to understand the rhythm, the structure, the psychology. And then I would start offering my services for free at first to build a portfolio. I'd find small businesses on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and I'd say, hey, I'll write you a new email sequence for free. Just let me use it in my portfolio. And after I had 3 or 4 examples, I'd start charging $500, then $1,000, then $2,000 within a year. You're making $150,000 a year as a freelance copywriter, working from home, setting your own hours, and building a skill that will make you money for the rest of your life. But here's the key. You have to pick one. You can't dabble. You can't try a little sales and a little copywriting and a little crypto trading. That's how you fail. That's how you stay at zero. You have to go all in on one thing, master it, become undeniable, and then use that skill to generate cash. Lots of cash, fast cash, because cash is oxygen. Without it, you die. And with it, you can build anything. Step 4, once I'm making money from my high income skill, once I've got cash coming in, I would start a side business, small, lean, low overhead. I'm not talking about raising venture capital. I'm not talking about renting an office. I'm talking about something I can run from my laptop with minimal investment. Here's what I would do. I would take the skill I just learned and I would productize it. If I learned sales, I would start a sales consulting business, helping other companies train their sales teams, 5 $5,000 per engagement. If I learned copywriting, I would start a copywriting agency, hiring other writers and taking a cut. If I learned media buying, I would start a lead generation business, driving leads to local businesses and charging per lead. The key is this: you already have the skill, you're already getting paid for it, now you're just packaging it differently and charging more, because you're not trading time for money anymore. You're selling a result, a transformation, and people pay more for that. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a copywriter. You're charging $2,000 to write an email sequence. That's time for money. You write the emails. You get paid. Done. But what if instead you charged $5,000 and you guaranteed that email sequence would generate at least $20,000 in sales, or they don't pay? Now you're selling a result and you can charge 5 times as much, because the risk is on you. And the value is clear. If I pay you $5,000 and I make $20,000, that's a 4-to-1 return. I'll do that deal all day. So you take that same skill, that same work, and you just reframe it, and now you're making more money. With the same amount of effort, that's leverage. That's how you scale. And with the cash from your side business, you start building real wealth. You start investing. You start buying assets. Step 5. I would invest every dollar I didn't need to survive, every single dollar, and I would invest it boring. Stocks, index funds, boring, predictable. I would put 80% of my investment capital into the S&P 500, just a low-cost index fund, Vanguard, Fidelity, whatever, I don't care. And I would never touch it, ever, for 20 years. Because here's what people don't understand. The stock market returns about 10% per year on average, 10%. That doesn't sound like much, but it's everything. If you invest $10,000 today, and it grows at 10% per year, in 10 years you have $25,000. In 20 years you have $67,000. In 30 years you have $174,000 from one investment, $10,000. That's the power of compound interest. And most people never experience it because they don't invest, or they invest in garbage, crypto, penny stocks, options, and they lose everything. So here's the rule: 80% in boring index funds, 20% in calculated bets. What's a calculated bet? Real estate, a business, a startup you believe in, something with asymmetric upside, where if it works, it could 10x or 20x your money. But you have to be smart. You have to do your homework. And you have to be okay with losing that 20%, because most of those bets will fail. But the ones that hit, the ones that work, they change your life. Let me give you an example. Let's say you save $50,000 over 3 years. You put $40,000 into index funds and $10,000 into a calculated bet. Maybe you invest in a friend's business, or you buy a rental property, or you angel invest in a tech startup. If that bet fails, you lose $10,000. It sucks. But you still have $40,000 growing in the market. But if that bet works, if it 10x's, now you have $100,000 plus your $40,000 in the market. You just made $140,000 from 50. That's how you build real wealth. Boring base, calculated bets on top. Step 6. I would avoid debt like the plague, like it was going to kill me, because it is. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, student loans, all of it. Poison. Debt is the enemy of wealth, period. If you're starting from zero and you go into debt, you're starting from negative, and you're paying interest on that negative, which means you're going backwards, fast. Let me break this down. Let's say you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest. You're paying $1,000 a year just in interest. That's $1,000 you could have invested. $1,000 that's just disappearing forever. And if you only make minimum payments, it'll take you years to pay off that $5,000, and you'll pay $8,000 in interest. So that $5,000 debt actually cost you $13,000. You just gave the bank $8,000 for nothing. That's insane. So here's the rule. If you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Period. No exceptions. No excuses. You want a car. Save up and buy a beater for $3,000 cash. You want a new phone. Save up and buy it cash. You want to go on vacation. Save up and pay cash. Or don't go. I don't care about your quality of life. I care about your financial survival, and debt will kill you. Step 7. I would build a personal brand. And this is the step most people skip, and it's the reason they stay small. A personal brand is your reputation, your credibility, your visibility. It's people knowing who you are, what you do, and why they should care. and in 2026. A personal brand is worth more than a college degree, more than a resume, more than anything, because if people know you, trust you, and believe you can solve their problem, they will pay you a lot. So here's what I would do. I would pick one platform, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, just one, and I would post every single day for a year, no excuses, no breaks, every day. And I would share what I'm learning, what I'm doing, my wins, my losses, my process, not to brag, but to teach, to help, to provide value, and slowly, over time, people would start paying attention. They'd start reaching out. They'd start asking how they can work with you. And boom, now you have inbound leads. Now you have clients. Now you have opportunities without spending a dollar on ads, just from being visible, from being consistent, from being helpful. Let me give you a real example. There's a guy I know, started from zero, worked in a warehouse, learned sales, started posting on LinkedIn every day about sales, tips, strategies, what he was learning. After 6 months, a company reached out to him, offered him a sales job, 50,000 base plus commission. He took it. After a year, he was making 120,000. After 2 years, he started his own sales training company. Now he makes $500,000 a year from LinkedIn posts. That's the power of a personal brand. But you have to be consistent, you have to provide value, and you have to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens if you do the work. Step 8. I would ruthlessly cut out distractions and time wasters. This is brutal, but necessary. If you're starting from zero, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time for Netflix, video games, scrolling TikTok for 3 hours, going to the bar with your boys, all of that, gone. Your time is your most valuable asset, and you're trading it for nothing. Let me put this in perspective. If you spend 2 hours a day on social media, that's 14 hours a week, 56 hours a month, 672 hours a year. If you spent those 672 hours learning a skill, building a business, creating content, your life would be completely different in 1 year. Completely. But instead, you're watching other people live their lives while yours falls apart. So here's what I would do. I would delete every app that wasn't making me money. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, games, all of it, gone. I would block YouTube on my phone. I would cancel Netflix. And I would replace all of that time with productive activity, reading, learning, building, creating, and I would do that for 2 years, just 2 years. And after 2 years, I'd be so far ahead of everyone else, they wouldn't even be able to see me. But most people won't do this because it's hard, because it's boring, because they're weak. Don't be weak. Step 9, I would surround myself with people who are where I want to be. This is critical. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your friends are broke, lazy, unmotivated, guess what? You're going to stay broke, lazy, and unmotivated. It's not mean, it's just true. So I would cut out anyone in my life who wasn't pushing me forward, anyone who was negative, anyone who made fun of my goals, anyone who tried to pull me back down, gone. And I would replace them with people who were ahead of me, people making 6 figures, people running businesses, people who were serious about success. How do you find these people? Online communities, masterminds, LinkedIn, Twitter. Find them, reach out, offer value, ask questions, learn from them, and slowly you'll start thinking like them, acting like them, and getting results like them. Your environment determines your outcomes. Change your environment, change your outcomes. Step 10, I would stay paranoid, hungry, and humble forever. This is the final step, and it's the one that keeps you rich. Once you start making money, once you have some success, the biggest danger is complacency, thinking you've made it, thinking you can relax, thinking the rules don't apply to you anymore. That's when you lose everything. I've seen it 1,000 times. Guy goes from 0 to 100,000, buys a fancy car, moves into an expensive apartment, starts spending like he's a millionaire, and 12 months later, he's broke again, worse than before, because now he has debt. Don't let that be you. Stay paranoid. Always assume the bottom could fall out tomorrow. Always assume your income could disappear. Always live below your means. Always keep saving. Always keep investing. Always keep learning. The moment you stop, you start dying financially. This is a game you play forever. There's no finish line. There's no retirement. There's just winning or losing. And if you want to keep winning, you have to stay in the fight. So let me summarize this whole thing for you, because I know some of you weren't paying attention. If I had to start over with $0 in 2026, here's exactly what I'd do. Cut my expenses to nothing. Live like I'm broke, because I am. Get any job that pays immediately. Work insane hours. Save every dollar. Learn one high-income skill, sales, copywriting, media buying, whatever. Master it. Go all in, get a high-paying job using that skill, or start freelancing, start a side business, productize my skill, sell results instead of time, invest every extra dollar in boring index funds, 80% safe, 20% calculated bets, avoid debt completely, never borrow money, never use credit cards, build a personal brand, post every day, provide value, get visible, cut out all distractions, no Netflix, no games, no time wasters, surround myself with winners, cut out losers, find mentors, and stay paranoid, stay hungry, stay humble forever. That's the playbook. That's exactly what I would do. And if you do this, if you actually follow this, you won't be at zero in 5 years. You'll be at 500,000 or more. But here's the problem. Most of you won't do it. You'll watch this video, you'll nod along, you'll think, yeah, that makes sense, and then you'll go right back to your old habits, spending money you don't have, chasing shiny objects, making excuses, and in 5 years, you'll still be broke, you'll still be complaining, you'll still be wondering why everyone else is getting ahead and you're stuck. And the answer will be simple. You didn't do the work. You weren't willing to sacrifice. You weren't willing to be uncomfortable. You wanted the results without the pain, and that's not how it works. That's never how it works. So here's my challenge to you. Prove me wrong. Take this playbook, implement it, every single step, for 1 year, just 1 year, and see what happens. I guarantee your life will be unrecognizable. You'll have money in the bank, you'll have skills that make you valuable, you'll have opportunities you never imagined, but you have to commit right now, today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, now, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets, the deeper the hole becomes, and eventually it's too late. You're 65, broke, working at Walmart, eating cat food, wondering where it all went wrong. Don't let that be you. Take action, follow the plan, and change your life. Or don't, and stay exactly where you are. The choice is yours. But don't come crying to me in 5 years when you're still at zero, because I told you exactly what to do, and you ignored me. Now, if you made it this far, if you actually watched this entire video, you're already ahead of 99% of people, because most people can't focus for more than 30 seconds. They can't handle the truth. They can't handle someone telling them they're wrong, but you did. So do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to keep making videos like this. I'm going to keep telling you the truth, even when it hurts, even when you don't want to hear it, because someone needs to. Someone needs to save you from yourself, and that someone is me. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's build wealth together. The right way, the hard way, the only way that actually works. I'll see you in the next video. Now get to work.